Yeah, abantu basaphila ngiyathemba. Angilwe. Ngiyabona i-title yapho ungathuki kodwa nje angilwe, but ngiyacabanga ukuthi kufuneka ukuthi sibonisane magenge. Lezi zinto lezi sibonayo because kuningi and it's getting kuningi every day. It's kuningi shame and unfortunately ngingedwa. Now khona lento le ethi I need to talk about this to a degree. Bantu bakithi Africans aka black people, y'all are just too forward. Niyapapa. Now, it's not a matter of just casting aspersions or talking down on my people, but I want us to walk through the realization that we are where we are because we couldn't stay away from trying to act out in a forward manner, trying to impress people, trying to sound like we know things and we know it all, trying to show off. We are here because our people can't stay away from the drug of being popular, turn the attention, like to be noted, and just to shine. We're too forward. I'll go through a very few things, just to keep it matters short. I mean, for example, you look at this issue of ubukhosi base-Afrika yonkana njengoba bufile nje, njengoba buhlezi abantu who don't even possess ugcobo lobukhosi across Africa, where you find abantu bakithi awekho amakhosi afanele endaweni zawo, asihambela phakathi kwemigwaqo njengabantu bonke njengathi nje, and we are busy trying to look for solutions and wondering why things are this way, whereas abantu bangena ukuphapha bafuna ukuthi nabo kuthiwa amakhosi badayisa ngabantu, because that's what happened. Waqhamuka abantu abamhloshana la and they gave people the impression ukuthi they can make them amakhosi, and to this day they still believe bamakhosi, and ithi bayede kubona. You go and you kneel in front of them and you know very well ukuthi lobukhosi babo baqhamuka kanjani. This is across Africa, not just here, across Africa. Abelungu basuka la basuka khona bephethelwe into abephethe, bazothatha abantu abanyama abaphaphayo abathanda izinto babathembisa lokho abadayisa ngabantu, babulewa abantu bebulawa ilento yokuphapha. Funani ezintweni owayaziyo kahle ukuthi kusiyona yakho umuntu. Hloniphe ngani ugcobo olaziyo ukuthi alokufanele uqhele kulo, and uyayibona lenhlese yokuphapha ukuthi namanje sekhona, because even now babambelele nje, bayabona ukuthi kuyabhidlika kubi kodwa nje babambelele, bafuna udedela. Kukho umuntu emncane kuke 2 months egcotshiwe laphana kukaphela nya beyikhehle bambelele. So basegula noma adliwe yini awushone kuthiwa hayi imisebenzi yabantu, kanti cha ubambelele entweni naye azi kahle, akalala ebusuku, ithi hlukana naleyo nto. uqale phansi ugijima ehle ufuna inyanga ufuna lokho ufuna imithi ubulala loya uyacuya loyana uyathwala lapha nalapha ufuna lento le engakufuni phapha. It's a problem enkulu, and this is not a new thing. I was explaining to someone just 2 days ago, you know, you need to pay attention. Wherever you go across the planet, you find that abantu amnyama were busy doing something there. Everywhere you go, you find they left a footprint, left in something that many ages old. Whether it's building or it's entire cities made out of stone in the most inexplicable way, from Easter Island to back to the Pacific, back to Africa, back to Europe. You find that black people were there. In the Arabian deserts, the shifting sands of the Arabian deserts, there's also things there that black people left. So you get most amazed, black people are so unaware of what's going on around them and where they come from. It's a surprise to them. There was an example that we were talking about in terms of medicine. Ukhona lento abathi it's Mongolian, is it the Mongolian sports ejwayele ukuba semzimbeni yabantu, like thina sithi umkhango. Now what people don't understand is that they call it Mongolian sports because they don't want to say African sports. You see, because this is where it comes from. The same thing about the Mongols. The Mongols come from Africa. Because kwasuka abantu amnyama la eCongo, amamongo ahamba ebhiza abantu amnyama baphapha ngithi bahamba ke bashona le bayohlangana namaSulumane lapha ama-Arab. They interpret with the Arabs, so then you got those Mongolians. This is why when you look at them, if you look at the photos of the Mongolians, if you look at them closely, you realize they have a lot of African features, but with a touch of Arabian blood and a touch of very straight black hair, which is not as thick as the Asiatics. You go look it up. It's up to you. Go look it up there. Look up the people of the Mongo people of Congo, Abagongo, and go look up the Mongolians. Aga Khan, the Great Khan, Genghis Khan. Because they were doing those things because of their inheritance. They inherited the conquering and kingship blood in their veins from those people of the Mongo. You shouldn't be surprised that I'm saying this, because you understand Mansa Musa could literally travel from here to Saudi Arabia, because there's something called the Silk Route, which is nothing new. Trading with other people, bepapa bengagcini ngokutrade nabo, begcine sebe-interpreta nabo, begcine beganselana nabo ungazi kwenze njani. It goes all the way back there to Oquintier. Oquintier basifakela ama-mongrels, ama-Persians manje, because they were struggling with what manje kwathathwa ingane lapha from Persia yazofakwa la, yazoganiswa la ekhaya. A mongrel was born. Then you start having people with funny features in those statues in Egyptus. Came Papa bafunde imikhuba yamalokhuza okuthwala yama-patience. qala kanjalo uyawa ke into enithi Kim. Yawa kanjalo kwiKim abantu babephapha. Befuna ukuphoqa izinto bengafuni ukulinda ukuba bona Tyme kahle kahle kwenzakalani. Now I'll go deep in that one of what happened with Uthie and ubaba wakhe before her, exactly what was the condition eyenza ukuthi baze bathathe intombazane yasePersia bazoyifaka phakathi ebukhosini. Ayebathembiseni ama-Persians. Nonsense yenziwa abantu abamnyama ngoba bengafuni ungaqami. Always looking for uqama. Wonke into eqhamukayo nehleka nayo. You want to be friends. I don't know who said we need to be agreeable with everyone. For what reason? Hey. Yini yapha? Uyawazi ufuna uhleka qhamuka umlungu. Qhamuka India. Qhamuka kwasani. Hleka. You end up compromising yourselves in lento yokuhleka. You end up selling your people. Uhlekana nezinto ongazazi. Meanwhile, these people in Dilana, they've always been very clear ukuthi they're not trying to give you any advantage over anything. And you cannot blame them. Because that's how the game is supposed to be played. Each one for themselves. Just black people can't grasp that concept ukuthi njengabantu abamnyama mele sibe nento yethu esimagiyona and we must blackball wonke umuntu uzama ukusiphazamisa. That's how the game is played. We must always look for an advantage. Shine good. Yeah, shine good. When push comes to shove, we go to war to gain an advantage for ourselves. Yeah, somebody decided to tell black people, hey, you need to be friendly with everyone. Peace, love. Now black people are busy trying to show and prove ukuthi uthando and uthula. Cast ubuntu. Now they told you because nabachazela ukuthi what does ubuntu mean. Suddenly now it's a philosophy. Like there was never such a philosophy. Like has it become a philosophy of ubuntu? It wasn't the way of living either. It became a thing because you started telling these people, translating for them concepts that they don't understand. And they developed a philosophy for you because you are not in charge of anything. You don't take a narrative, own it, build it, and support it. There's nothing called a philosophy of Ubuntu. You can I hear people, especially these guys who try to look back and talk in terms of the history and ancient civilizations of Abantu and whatnot. You talk about Ubuntu, trying to imagine how we used to live. No, we were conquerors. We didn't play that game, this one. We had governments. Granted, we did better than those ones they will ever imagine. Because the very lento is to run the world. But we had powerful governments. People couldn't just come into Africa anytime they wanted without checking. Hamba nihleka nawo wonke umuntu. Word got out ukuthi sekuyahlekwa lapha. Bangena, bathatha, bashaya. Ukhumbula ukuthi they didn't ask nicely, bebeshaya, faka induku. Mabebuka bathi sifuna lo mhlaba bashaye. Mabona ukuthi akushayeki bafuna uphaphayo lapha phakathi kwena bazomsebenzisa. Nangempela bamthola umsebenzisi. Lose. Ilazi khona because of Ukuphapha. Two for what? We don't wait and check things. It's difficult to tell people who wait, check. It's difficult to ask people to uvela pig. You know. Why are you here? Hleli la ezweni lethu hleli nabelungu. Hleka nabelungu. trying to fit in their systems and our understand. How are you going to stand our systems abantu who are crazy? Izinhlanya lezi, and you want to try and figure out how to fit into the systems. You are not going to. You're always going to come out losing at the end of it. Exama konke, you always come out. It doesn't work for you because uzama ukwenza izinto zabantu abahlanyayo. And granted, black people understand this, black people know this, but because upapa kumele phezulu, you tell them no. Akusibo bangani beni laba, they think uthi dona abafuna belungu eheta. No, they're not your friends. They never were. And you went around the world in papa, nenza zonke lezi zinto nizama ukugqama. Nikhanda ama-mixture wonke la makhaladi lawa. Nako-Tasmania kunamakhaladi, nako-Australia kunamakhaladi, othi welela ku-New Zealand kunamakhaladi abantu la. Khuphuke uthi la ku-Pakistan, India uyabathola, shone ku-Afghanistan ubona ama-half and half nakhona. Yonke indawo. Apha phezulu ko-Eskimo uthola ama-half and half everywhere. Thola ama-half and half abantu. But sabathola abantu lapho manje. That's why they come there, they go, okay, they exterminate them. I've said this before. Japan kwakhona abantu. The whole system of samurai, the whole doctrine and the sword method, even the language, you can hear how the Japanese speak with no man. Nabantu bakhuluma loudly like us, abafihli. Whereas where they come from in China, those people are very subtle when they speak. Bayifunda kubani lento yokuba ngumsindo, because they found natives there. And they always try to erase them. Muto no safika abantu amnyama la. Babafundisa code yokulwa. Yokuba iqhawe. The samurai thing was born. They know these things, but this is what happens. Most of humble people fundisa abantu izinto. They will realize, nomuntu lo kahle uhlaniphile. How do we take this thing from them? Uthi usabhekele bakushaya ekhanda bathathe lento oyiphethe babhekele uhambe ushunele. Umansa laba behla benyuka beshona benyuka bahamba bayofika uzofika egcineni abasenamandla basenamagolide. Umuntu ehambe namakamela of-50,000 ephethe igolide. Hamba lapha niyophapha, instead of going namasosha lapha uyothatha la udlala umhlaba uyophapha yena uhambisana namabhalo ngamagolide. Uyokhombisa abantu lapha abangazi lutho ukuthi no kunegolide eningi ngapha la ngivela ngakhona. Babona ukuthi okay. Shothi igolide eningi lapha kulabantu abamnyama khona. Qala kanjalo inkathazo. Yangena ke Arab slave trade. Kwangathi kudayiswa abantu abamnyama ku slave trade, dayiswa abantu abamnyama. No, akufuna kahle ukuthola kahle ulayini waleli golide uthi kahle lingakuphi la kulabantu abamnyama leli golide. And I always say to you, always look at a progression of history. That's another thing. You don't really understand the history of these people. Niyithatha ngendlela ngesolo fanciful and romance. They romanticize it too much. The history. You don't look at it in the practical sense. The first crusade and second crusade, the only thing they were trying to figure out where were the Arabs getting these things that they were getting. And bathi mabeqeda lapho basuka bezala izwe lase-Africa. It was not just by mistake. Suddenly they just discovered Africa. No. They knew where it was. They just needed to understand what kind of people they're dealing with. That's why they came here, didn't ask questions. But the Arabs told them, no, those ones, they turned in the nganekwane. Take to them, these nganekwanes, they will take them. Afika lana indaba ezinde zo Jesus Christ and God na unajabula nabamba ngoma hayi bandla jabula ke manje ke bathatha umhlaba lana ibhizi niguqile ngoba futhi. So I say these things because I ain't ngoba ngilwa, but I think we need to examine ourselves and understand ukuthi as a people we are not as great as we think we are. There's a lot of things that are being said trying to impress us nokuthi see khothamanxeba, but the reality of the situation is we really did mess up a lot, and we need to really look into our past and our present and understand, no man, we made some mistakes, and we know we don't look at ourselves as a nation, and we have allowed other people to determine who we are and where we are going in our culture. Half of your culture, not even 60% of your culture is not even African. Izinto eniyithatha emamngisini nasemabhunwini. Senethu lokhuzana ke masiko lawo. Nawo izinto lezi enhlezi ngisho. No, lobo mngoma benu akusibona benu. Nathatha izinto zamangisi la. Banifundise witchcraft nina najabula nafa. Waphenduka kwaba yini ilokhuzana. Seku i-culture yabantu abamnyama. Into ebingekho until the late 1800s. Suddenly sekhona lezi zinto sekulenga amabhayi xunywa ama colorful beads la. Into esingayazi thina eAfrica. Phapha nako consistent phaphering. Usabatho uyavimba lana uthi hey animene kancane ngamadlozoms. Hayi. It's our culture. Culture for who? Yakuphi? Nine culture nina ninganawo ngisho ama nursery rhymes. Zonke lezi ama-lullabies lezi ngoma nama-nursery rhymes baculela iy'ngane aqhamuke England. Oh dude, I did that, but it is not such a thing. Thatha izinto zamangisi niyasifaka la. Kupho kwenu wena nicula ney'ngane nidlala. Come here. And it's so sad when you really look into it. You realize, no man, how far we have gone in the abyss of not knowing and losing ourselves. It's very sad when you really think about it. But here's the thing about the cognitive issue aspect. We can't seem to rationalize things. We can't seem to sit down and look at what's going on around us and conceptualize the world and conceptualize our place in it and how we need to move to gain an advantage. Because if we did, then we wouldn't be where we are. We've become izicela nkobe. Siphilela ucela kwezinye izingane sihambe siphaphatha sifuna umsebenzi kuso. Shiya emakhaya sihambe siyosebenza koGoli siyosebenzela ezinye izingane zakweMimes. It's really bad. to be honest. And we are very proud of it. Like I was saying last week, you don't understand what those things even mean. Then explain that to you. But black people will never take that seriously because Ukuphapha wabo we-level high kabi. They think they've got it figured out. But all in the while, they are being just used as pawns by other people. Vumelani ukuba isikhusi, ukuba isithenjwa. Why? Why did these people agree to become izithenjwa zabelungu? Kuze kube manje nabantwana babo bayaqhubeka babe izithenjwa zabelungu. Abafuna ukudedela izihlalo zobukhosi ezingabadingi ukuze kuphile isisu bafuna. And it's sad because it tells us or tells anyone in the world, black folks can't seem to read the room very well. We can't seem to read the room. We walk into a space and we can't seem to read what's happening. And then we end up always being those ones who are very entertaining. Even endaweni la ngasekho khona isidingo soku-entertain. We are busy entertaining. I always look at this one of laba bantu bakithi abathathu bayofakwa ema-plantations phesheya ku-Caribbean no-America. You find them very, very busy entertaining the people who were abusing them. And you have to understand that kind of behavior is very confusing to the enemy because here you are, you constantly day in and out, you are acting happy, you are acting funny, and they have to get pleasure from being entertained by you, and you expect them to also realize that they are oppressing you. It doesn't make sense. Why would anyone take you seriously if as a bonya every day and you wake up, why should they take you seriously? Why should anyone take you seriously? You're busy entertaining them. At the same time, the things that were being done there were the most inhuman things you can ever imagine. But those people were busy entertaining lawa belungu laba. Namanje basaqhubeka. They think that it's a good thing, it's a good idea to be agreeable. There's no survival tactic that means you to be agreeable. I always say, rather had we died saphela sonke instead of this mess we are in. There is no benefit, there is no return in being agreeable. I saw some very interesting video where someone was legitimizing this business of you take it on the chin, you don't fight back, you last, eventually will outlast them. What kind of the game is that? What kind of a game is that? Because that means that a lot of souls cross over to the land of the dead, very angry and demanding justice. Abantu bangalena bahalila, and they want revenge, they want justice, and you wonder why you are so angry. And you wonder why you are so angry with each other, especially. Leli gas labantu lachithwa liyakhala. And in business and lokunhleka nabelungu. So the question is, why are you guys being friends nabantu abasibulala kanzima kanje? Yeah? When are you going to focus your focus in trying to get justice out of this thing? And no one is going to take you seriously. That's a problem. No one's going to take you seriously because you think everything is about a toy. You don't take a position and show what in this position I'm taking, I'll die standing here. No. So why should they take you seriously? Can organize. Hlezi amashibhini every weekend nidle amashisanyama. Mphuza utshwala. Why should they take you seriously? Can't read the room. We are in a world today where, famine is approaching, money is worthless, so there is going to be a lot of poverty. We are in a very strange world and a lot of death. We are in that world today. That's where we are. That's the room we are in. But seemingly we can't read the room. We still continue to exercise the same irresponsible behavior our grandparents and their parents before them. We are still spending money on expensive things. Zamashayina, zamangesi, zamandia, and all of them. Tatimali buyele Italian because when ufuna ugqoka Italian. Tatimali buyele France because when ufuna ugqoka into zase-France. At this day and age, lapho kudla khona kubiza ngalendlela. You still have black people who are obsessed with fashion, who are obsessed with brands and cars. Granted, very like car local, but still, what are you doing with those expensive German and Italian machines? Funani motoka 1.6 million, 2 million. For what? Can't read the room. A room is on demands that we need to organize as much as we can, whatever we can. And look at how do we weather the storm as a nation. Because lently a global collapse is going to take down all these people we depend on with basnegism sabins. And then we singing a lot. Can't even feed ourselves. Live Ukuphapha la nefuna ukuxhumelana ngama brands. Angel. But there is no other way of describing that kind of cognitive imbalance. And the reason why I'm saying these things is because seemingly we can't stay away from self-defeating ways. We seem to be very, very good at doing izinto ezislimazayo. Into ezishonisa phambili hayi asiyifuni shame. No matter how long we've been doing something that is self-damaging, self-defeating, self-harming, we just keep at it because we don't want to try something that might take us in a direction that is better. Like I always talk in this channel about your obsession with religion. So obsessed with religions, so bloody obsessed with religions, and we keep doing the same thing over and over and over. Phuma bayangena bayashintshana, opastor bamanzi, opastor bamabhayi, opastor benke. Sekukhona opastor abashaya uphondo manje. Siba ama-Hebrews manje, siba ama-Hebrews, siba amaJuda. So, hi. What is the use of that nonsense? Isiza ngani? These are all the symptoms of ukuqina. Because if you understand the dynamic and the ideology behind the religions, then you would understand, these are things that you need to establish once you know how to take care of yourself as a community. Angeke nisebenzele religion ningakwazi ukwenza izinto zama-basics like taking care of yourselves. It's not going to happen. The religions should be the last thing engqondweni. The very last thing. Bangabe usibhizi siyahlakula siyatshala. Basic thing. First basic thing. Hlakulani tshalani. Because that's what we need to be doing. This is how you feed yourselves. And then you move from there. Organize your community to teach your children what things to teach your children. I was listening to the Gantingi show the past week. Even now, I'm still listening to some very interesting material from clinical psychologists. And it is very interesting. The things that Abelung have time to look at. They spend time formulating and developing the conceptualizing the world that they live in. As crazy as they are, they try to explain the world and navigate through particular ideas. They don't just wake up in the morning, they're existing, eat, sleep, wake up in the morning, they're existing, and hope something magical happens in how the children are raised, and those children somehow must become adults who are useful to the community. Ningazange nifake any input. It's a simple thing. Like, it's very funny. I was just watching one guy there who is doing a parkour program in America, and he was talking to Jordan Peterson about how they have realized Uguti with male children, there are masculine things that need to happen to them so that they can develop cognitively and become well adjusted males. It's for them to become males that don't have inkinga mhlambe violence, anger, and all those issues. From a very early age, you need to play rough with your boys. Rough and tumble. They call it rough and tumble, abelung, but ilento okudlalisana nengane zabafana in a tough way. Besiyenza lonto sifundisa ingane isencane ukushaya indobo. Shawana. Bafana bayashayana, bayangcokola, bayenza yonke, bayangcweka, bayagconana for them to express and build their masculinity. And he was explaining what that whole process of rough and tumble teaches the male child the nuances of physical contact. If you push up to this particular point, you will hurt someone because they have felt nabo being hurt is not a positive thing. So it's very easy for them to adjust how they interact with people on a physical basis. They're not going to jump into just attacking people and hitting them. Because anzange nikhule ningaqhathwanga, so kulula ukuthi uvele nje udedele isandla sibe lula because akekho umuntu osakakushaya, yabo, usakhulu ugcina ushaya uma wakho. So there's really no built into how physical contact with another person and its limits are. You can't establish limits around that because you didn't grow up with the rough and tumble. And he was explaining, it's very interesting how they are only figuring out this thing, manj. All along, this kind of things, competitive behavior and all of these things, they were saying wrong. Now, suddenly, that bulb is coming because they are going through a lot of mental issues. It's becoming unbearable. He was saying, it was such an interesting thing for him to realize because him and his friend had younger brothers. And umngane wakhe waba ne-accident ye-bike washona. Manje lo mfowabo omncane, who was still a toddler, I wouldn't say a toddler at the time, couldn't sleep because he had a routine ukuthi his brother would come back home ntambama badlale these rough games, rough and tumble, and then he would go to sleep. Manje he couldn't sleep because his brother was no longer doing that with him. It came to a point ukuthi umngane wakhe had asked him, no, try and come by every evening uzomdlalisa lo sibone ukuthi kwenzakalani. And he did that. Afika njalo ntambama adlala, and then he suddenly now could manage to sleep. So this thing of development, we don't even spend time on simple things like that. Siyavumela nje ukuthi izinto ziyekwe, and we don't even try and check ukuthi lezi zinto besizenza zisibenefita kuphi. But zonke lezi zinto eziyi-nonsense ezingasenzeli lutho, hayi sibambelele kuzona, siyogingqike wenazo, sifunje ukuzwa. Basic thing. Ukulusa was a very powerful tool of teaching young men on how to build wealth and protect wealth and take care of animals and take care of wealth, taking care of the house. It's a university on its own, lento ukulusa, when you really sit and look at it and conceptualize it. Indoda iyalusa is very adept in building lokuzane wealth and protecting it. It's not the same as someone who was never. It's very difficult to conceptualize because you don't picture growth and expansion. Very easy. You learn it abstractly, usumdal. But whereas when you learn it in the practical sense, where you are herding cattle, raising cattle, uyayibona utility in growing and sustaining sustenance and sustaining. Lezo zinto lezo. So now we are in that hole where we've dug ourselves into this hole. We don't know anything about anything anymore, and we just cannot seem to stay away from izinto ezisilimazayo. Nkosi yami angazi ukuthi kwenze njani bantu abamnyama, but zofdinga ukuthi sitshelane nje lokhu sitshelana kancane sikhumbuzana ukuthi no guys, yehlisani phela nezinga lokuphapha, alehle nkosi yami, alehle ngoba salimala phela nje. Angifuni ungasho, we are really struggling. It's not working out. Lemkhuba yongafuni ukuya kuphapha is proving to be a detriment to us all, and we are not going to have a society and abantu abamnyama in the future if we continue this way, So that's my rant for today. Yekani lento yokuphapha. Ake sehliseni amaphaphu ke sibhekisise kahle zonke lezi zinto lezi esithi siyazenza esithi ezethu. And let's not be afraid to discard izinto ezingasizi ngalutho. Let's not be afraid to do that. Let's look at the things futhi esiyilahlile kahle eziwusizo kithi, ezisikhandela umphakathi nesizwe esiqinileyo. Nizongibekezelela nje impela because lento yobukhosi ngiyayibona ukuthi no shame ifuna ukuthi uqhamuka kuba yala abantu Nkosi yami. Iyadinga ukuthi inkosi yale ngoba lento lo ila kuyona phakathi ukuthi no, you look at the world, you look at your nation, and you try to position your people in advantageous position. You give them an ideology, you give them a philosophy into ezoba nikeza something that's gonna be like a light bulb, because we find ukuthi some people already understand these things, but they've never thought about how they work and never really understood the impact that they have on them. So iyahlupha leyo nto leyo. Inkosi iyayala nje kungonakele lutho, iyona iphinde iyale futhi ngisho konakele. Lama khosi enu kasazi ukuthi wona abhizinani, kodwa ke asinandaba kakhulu. Nizobekezela nje nicosha la cosheka khona, nihambe niyokwakha imizi yenu, nakha amakhaya enu niyilungise nani, because some of you are having mental issues because you seem to not have a strong grasp of the world that you are living in today, through no fault of your own. Nobody at home taught you how to navigate the space, and it's a very dangerous space to be in, shame, where it's unforgiving. It's gonna need ukuthi amadoda aqine impela, and sizoqinisana nje ngokuzama ukuxoxelana indaba zamaqiniso, singancengani, singalokhu sibrashana. But the reality of the situation is abantu abanyama banenkinga yokuthi bayaqina, and bavele baqinele nabantu abayingozi. Kumele sivale leyo nto leyo. Asidingi ukuthi sihleke nawo wonke umuntu. Akekho umuntu omngani wethu. We know this. Siyazi umlando sikhombisile kaningi ukuthi kahle akekho umngani wethu la emhlabeni. Lento sithi sayihleka insinini siyenzelani, nobody knows, and we need to stop that, and then and only then we can move forward. Mithaba.